Welcome back to Down with the Get Down. I'm your co-host, Romel.
And your boy, Derek.
All right, y'all. For this episode of DWG, about to go over...
About to go on to the red pill.
The blue pill.
My bad.
We're talking about the pills
My
today.
bad. We're talking about popping perks. Perk 30s.
Perk 30. We're getting distracted. Stay focused.
Yeah. All right. So, what's his name?
Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah, that little bitch.
All right. We only a minute in. So, the supposed godfather of the red pill community.
Yeah.
He has. Did you want to introduce it? Go down the.
Yeah. So, he put out a tweet that says the quickest path to becoming a high value man. First, don't get married.
Right.
Second, avoid family creation.
All
All right. Third, vasectomy in your 20s.
All right.
Hey, snip.
Snip.
Fourth, lift constantly. 5, eliminate all seductions. 6,
Sedations.
My bad.
You're good.
Dyslexic. Talk shit. You're this ableist or whatever.
You're racist.
You're racist and ableist.
If you fuck with his dyslexia,
you'll
you're
get
racist.
canceled. Anyways, let's see. Where was it playing?
Eliminate. You say eliminate all sedations. Learn, game, and networking.
Yes, learn game and networking. Play to your strengths. Body.
Build wealth.
Yeah, build wealth.
And then.
And
What's that? I got a cracking. It was a cracking for the resist easing up on your focus.
yeah. So those are the tips for the quickest way to becoming a high value man.
And this particular list, ladies and gentlemen, has been going around in the community and being highly discussed about. It's highly controversial. I don't know why.
I wonder why.
It's so controversial.
So this was talked about on Fresh and Fit's podcast. Sneeko brought it up, and Sneeko has been a little bit changing his outlook on things because I feel like it's because he's been going abroad and going to different places and stuff like that, being closer to religion and things like that. So he's kind of found a lot of the flaws with like the red pill. So this is the tweet that was put out. He had a big problem with the vasectomy at 20 in your 20s.
It's crazy. Because we have a problem with that. Makes so much sense.
Just snip your balls.
Snip your nuts, nigga.
It's honestly like
Stay
the lowest IQ advice I could think of. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
It's so like, what do you say? It's like when people just say stuff that's agreeable, and you're like, all right. Like half of the stuff on here is like, all right, cool, whatever.
Like some of
it's generic as shit.
Yeah, it's extremely generic. I mean, some of it is fine, obviously. The don't get married thing, I feel like that's kind of stupid. The family creation, I feel like that's dumb too. The lifting, that's fine. That's a normal thing people should do. Playing to your strengths, obviously, all people should do that regardless. And all the other stuff on here, it's fine. It's just the top 3 I don't vibe with.
Yeah, it's like let's dissect this. let's get into the shits on this one. As far as starting off with the controversy that it's been getting, as far as this when it comes, it's seeming like the red pill community. This is the person who is the godfather.
Yeah, what he says, people go with.
Yeah, what he says, people go with. If you're gonna stand next to these things, it's a problem when the blind lead the blind.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even if you watch when Sneeko and Destiny talked to him, they were beating this nigga
ass.
Yeah, he had no response because he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Because every time they pressed him on, what do you think a high value man is?
He's like, it's subjective,
and that's the same shit that Fresh and Fit do. When they got pressed by Sneeko in that moment, it was like, wow, it's like monkey see, monkey do.
Well, I mean, yeah, because like here's the thing, right? With a lot of this red pill stuff, which is why I don't really mess with a lot of it. They are just female versions of the people they talk about. Like females that they talk about, that they're the male versions of that. When you have a girl that's up there just like, I'm a 10 out of 10, even though she's like a beluga whale, right? They get on her ass about how the world sees you and objective and being truthful and not being delusional. But yet they do the same thing. When he was talking to Sneeko and Destiny, when he didn't have an answer, what did he do? He defaulted to being disrespectful. Same thing women do when they don't have a response or whatever.
Bro called them douche nozzles.
That is such a white disrespect. Like, this is such an old white thing to say.
Bro, when he said that shit, I was like, it threw
me off.
I was watching it this morning.
Yeah,
I was watching this morning before I drove from Nashville, and I heard that, and I was like, it was like record scratch turn. I was like, just call these folks douche nozzles. I thought that shit was hilarious.
I thought
honestly, it was so funny when he said that shit.
It was such a funny thing to say.
They got on his ass. If that was me, I would have been tripping. Bro. Because I've never been called that.
I've never been called it, and I've only heard it a few times.
And now I'm taking it. I'm using it forever now.
Oh yeah, like that douche noggle is hilarious.
He said fucking douche nozzle. And the thing is, he used it he used it properly. It didn't sound.
It didn't sound forced.
Yeah,
it just sounded like
so
a normal
natural
vernacular.
Yeah, it was so. It was like, but it was funny because it shows the generation. Yeah. It shows where he came from, because it's like calling somebody a dork. It's like, oh, you're dork. Like if they use it, like calling somebody a dork now, it's like, all right, cool, whatever. But it's not like, if you saying it, I feel like it comes off whatever.
Yeah,
it comes off whatever. People don't say it anymore. So if you do say it, it's like, damn, he really feel that way.
Yeah, he really put some. He really put that.
The way he said douche nozzle. But that's besides the point. I'm getting off topic.
But yeah, I mean, even in the conversation, right? Like Fresh and Fit couldn't get bro's dick out their mouth because as soon as he couldn't answer something, then Myron had to jump in and try to protect him and all this other stuff. And like, I understand slightly because they do a lot of business with him or whatever, and so they're trying to like protect him, but he couldn't stand on his own feet, and it's really sad for somebody to be older than the two people that he's talking to and just get beat up like that, and
then to be deemed
like the Godfather, which he said, I don't claim that title. I've never said it before.
Yeah, he didn't claim it because he probably would have claimed that shit if
he was winning.
He was like, yeah, and you're done. He was like, yeah, you're done. I am the Godfather. So
yeah, he's like, this is why I'm the Godfather. Yeah.
But in that moment, they were just pressing that boy.
Oh, yeah. He didn't know what the fuck to say. Because he was like, first he said it was a joke, right? Which is stupid because this isn't a joke. And then Myron was like, I took it as advice. And then he was like, yeah, that's correct. And they didn't call him on that. I don't think. I can't remember. Because he said at first it wasn't advice. Well, if you read this list, this is advice, obviously, because this is telling you the quickest way to becoming a high-value man. And then he couldn't answer what a high-value man is.
He was like, he said, what do you think a high-value man is? Like,
right, and that's the problem, too, is like, if a subjective high-value man is what you're talking about, that means your whole ideology means absolutely nothing.
You should have prefaced that in that tweet and should have said, this is my opinion.
Well, no, not even just that. If he made this and then they asked him what is a high value man and he explains what he feels like it is, and he says, this is what a high value man is, blam, bam, 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 bam. That's fine.
Because in that moment, you have the power to do that. Yeah, the ball was in his court.
Instead of just saying it's objective. Yeah. You can, however you feel a high value man is, depending upon where you live in society and all that stuff. That's what it is. It makes no sense. Because a person who is a loser, because like if you think a high value man is a dude that just gets a whole bunch of women, you can be a broke bum and get a bunch of women and then say you're a high value man. And then if you went up to Fresh and Fit and said this, they will tell you no.
And that's the part. I was like, that's the part that was getting to me in the situation was when he kept asking, it's subjective. And what do you think? Like, what do you think? I was like, bro, your listeners are listening to you. You have all these young dudes that are like fucking going thinking that you're like the next thing close to Jesus.
Yeah.
And like they're giving you this title, they're doing this and stuff like that. You are their person, and you can't even if you can't
even answer
question,
a basic question.
you can't answer this question, then how are they supposed to follow you? How are they supposed to even know what that means? Because now when you ask anybody who supports Red Pill, we finna expose everybody at that point.
Yeah, because I mean, like, how do you tell somebody these are the values of a high value man if you don't even know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, it's just like everything you say at that point is just nothing.
Because 5 years ago, we weren't talking about high value. Like the definition of a high value man would have been completely different.
Well, not even just that. Like, if it is that, right? Somebody who is most people associate it with money. All right, that's fine. But a lot of people also associate it with high values and being a man. Mm-hmm. So, and part of that is a fatherhood and having a family, because no high value man truly has no family, because you have no legacy. You have all these pretty things, but when you die, that's nothing. If you're old and going to die and you have family surrounded around you, that's what provides you with that amount of value to your life.
That's why I was like, some of the things on there, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever.
Some of these are fine to do when you're young.
Yeah, I've heard. You said what?
When you're young, these are good things to focus on. But like, as far as, because like the other thing too is when they were talking about, because Sneeko was really focused on getting a vasectomy at 20.
Yeah.
Because, and that's a valid thing, because getting a vasectomy at 20 eliminates the having a family. And they were like, no, you can do that later. Well, having a vasectomy is a very, like, reversing it is very, very low. Like, it is successful to reverse it, but the sperm count is very, very low.
Yeah. You're putting yourself in a position of less chances of being able to get her pregnant.
Right. Because even in this, right, they talk about, well, by like your 30s or whatever, you should be where you're supposed to be, like money-wise. All right, that's fine. Now you've reversed your vasectomy. Now you won't be able to have a kid. Because the longer you go, the worse it is. Because
you listen to a dumb dude.
Right.
And then somebody who's already older who probably did not get a vasectomy at the age of 20.
No, obviously not. But
no, I'm saying, like, when you telling these young dudes this stuff, and you saying shit like that, and they fuck around and do that for real,
right? And then you're like, well, I don't know why you took my advice. You should have.
Now you got thousands, millions of young dudes that hitting their 30s, and they're like, all right, cool, time to go get this reversed.
Right, and I think the vasectomy thing is honestly like the lowest IQ thing like you can think of, because I think if you're going to have a vasectomy, it should be after you've already established a family. And then you're like, well, I don't want any more kids. And then like you have a vasectomy. But in this, like, I can slightly understand marriage. But even in that, I think that's still stupid. Because I understand, like, they're like, well, there's the risk of having a divorce. Well, sure, there's a risk of having a divorce, but not every chick you get with is going to divorce you. Like, that's so weird to me.
It seems fear-based.
Well, it is fear-based. Okay. Like, that's like, because even when they were talking about like, even if she's like a Christian woman, look at Steven Crowder, because he's going through a divorce right now. Well, the problem with that is we don't know the reason as to why they're having a divorce necessarily. So there could be problems that he had because he was going through things. And then she's like, I can't do this anymore. So you never really know. You can't just look at somebody's relationship and be like, well, there are things going into shambles, so that's a good reason as to why I shouldn't have one. No.
You don't even know they're going. It's people who went through worse shit and then came back from it.
Yeah. And even even if you look at like, okay, well, she's treating this situation poorly, that clearly means that she's the asshole. Well, maybe she's just getting her get back because she's tired of him mistreating her for all this time. You're just looking at it just from that. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. So you can't really judge off of that. being married, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand some people not wanting to do it, and I also understand people wanting to do it but not have it legalized because they fear divorce in the court systems and stuff like that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Or prenups, things of that nature. But those are conversations that you need to have with the person, and you need to understand their values as a person as well.
And then if you see that there's something that's making them uncomfortable, then that's what the whole conversation is. Don't make it an argument.
Yeah, have a normal conversation.
Normal conversation. Understand that person's in. Understand you're in. So you get it all out there, and then you work out some type of compromise.
Yeah, and then like if it's really that big of a problem, just have a prenup. You can have a prenup. She can leave with everything she had, and you can leave with everything you had, and it's just fine. And if she has a problem with that, then just don't marry her.
Exactly. If it's that deep, if it's becoming that big of an issue, because you can mention prenup, she can mention the whole trust thing. Like, oh, you don't trust me, so like, I don't want a situation, and then you could potentially say, you know what, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do a prenup because I see where you're coming from, and I want to be all in. If you want to do that, that's the route that I'm probably gonna end up being, is you need to make sure that you are properly evaluating your people, and then as far as those things, do the work, because that's something that I'm getting irritated as far as red pill is concerned. And then this list is, where is development at?
Well, not even just development, but like in a lot of this stuff, and like with Rolo, he is completely not taking any sort of accountability. But they harp on women about taking accountability and saying women take no accountability.
You made a good point saying that they did a switch. It's like they basically the male versions of the other one.
Yeah, they're basically the male version of the bitches they talk about all the time. And like that's been a constant thing for a very long time. And that's why I don't really listen to like Fresh and Fit and stuff like that. I'll watch like clips sometimes, but a lot of them act just like females. And it's so weird to me that people actually look at this stuff, but it's because they're talking shit about women. And so that's where they get the rep of having all these incels and stuff like that.
It's like,
or wherever.
Where did that come? Like, it's like it started coming. It's like it kind of came in like they infiltrated the base. That's my It's like they came in at it like they were always, that energy was there, but when it got that platform, it took off on the gender war bullshit.
Well, because when you look at it, it's understandable that they would be this way because these are niggas that don't actually have any game. How they get women is through money.
We said on the phone, niggas are buying them. Right. Like, it's like, well, like, why would I get game if I can just buy it?
Right. And so if they're like, okay, we'll get all of your money up and then you can get any bitch you want, instead of actually having some sort of game, knowing how to talk to women and then just getting it that way. Because like I've talked to a 10, right?
Yeah.
I've been with 10s. I was broke as shit. I had them paying for me. So does that make me more high value than you because you're rich and you have to pay for their attention, and all I did was have to talk to them?
All you had to do is conversation.
So like that's another thing.
But they said, but that one's crazy because number 6 says learn game.
Learn game and networking, but that has to be with working.
So he's not even covering the line.
He's not necessarily talking about women, because if he was talking about women, that would be because learn game, learn how the game is like, learn how like.
Oh, I took that as like game,
having game with like women, because I feel like if that's how that was to be interpreted, he would say learn how to talk to women. Because there's also parts in here where it's talking about avoiding women and not having them be a priority.
And the crazy part, if you have middle schoolers, you have high schoolers looking at this, and they're going into it like, all right, cool, eliminate all sedations, learn game. Then you're building robots. You're building these dudes who are not gonna even have, because you can't even network with women because you wouldn't even know how to talk to them.
Well, yeah, because like what
you would disrespect them because you feel like they're less.
Well, yeah, because like what Fresh and Fit. Well, I think what Myron was talking about too is like when we're talking about like having sex with like a whole bunch of women and stuff like that, because for some reason he thinks it's perfectly fine. He thinks that all men should have
50.
Yeah, have sex with at least 50 women, which is, I can't say the R word, so I'm just gonna say it's extremely stupid. Because if a chick is like, you should have sex with 50 men so that you know the differences between good men and bad men, he would tear that apart. They are such hypocrites and their logic is so inconsistent. And that's why I wouldn't recommend any person really go with anything that they say about relationships, because I can't take somebody's advice that doesn't get women genuinely and also isn't in a relationship. If you, because that's why I can't take Pearl's advice. Like, a lot of the stuff she says is annoying. Like, I agree with some things, but you're not married. You're not in a relationship.
Bro, I just saw a video of, I think it was Abba and Preach reacting to them about her being, she's about to turn 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah.
And she was just shitting on people about that. Like shitting on a woman, saying like, if you're 20, getting married at 26 is a little too old.
Yeah, I know. Because they're all inconsistent.
It was like 26. It was like 20. I think it was like.
I think it was like 27.
27, 28, something like that.
Yeah.
In that range. But
they're all inconsistent. Like, all of their points are so inconsistent because that's not the lives that they live. It's just the lives that they talk about. And at least I can respect the blue pill side of everything, because at least the lives that they talk about, that's the lives they're living. But on this side, they talk about the Matrix and all this shit so goddamn much. They're living in their own. They're making the Matrix for themselves.
Yeah.
They want people to have a certain perception of them. And Sneeko said it best. Like, what is being a high value man? Why are you doing it? Is it so that you can flex on other men on the internet?
When he said that shit, I was like,
because a lot of these women don't care. Like, the women that they talk about that only care about money and stuff like that, like, sure, they might give a fuck about that, but like, ordinary women 9 times out of 10 don't actually give a shit about that sort of thing. So it makes no sense. And Myron, also, I want to make this known. Myron's point that he said that like the majority of 18-year-olds have children is an absolutely not stat. It's less than 7% of the male population that gets women pregnant young, and this is like, I think 18 to like 25.
Bro be making it seem like getting folks pregnant is like, it's just, you just getting folks pregnant left and right. That shit is low key hard.
Not only is it hard, but there are many people that have said that having a child does not mean you can't be successful. Like, it might stunt something for like maybe a year or so, but that doesn't mean you can't be successful.
No.
And the dude who Rollo was referring to that doesn't go out or anything like that because he's constantly trying to make money all the time sounds like a fucking loser. I don't care about how much money he has. He sounds like a fucking loser because he has no social interaction, because he's like, I'm only focused on making money. I have people go out and buy things for me because of this and that. And if you think that that's success, then you're a fucking loser too. Because building bonds with people, you can take moments out of your life to actually live life and still be successful. There are many people that do it every single day who are still successful.
Relationships are damn near going to be the most important thing. Like the most important thing, because that shapes you. Just because you got the Bugatti, you got the nice cars, you got all these things and all that stuff. That's cool, that's great, that's fantastic, that's attractive, cool. But now, you're in the world of the top 1%. But now, hell, you need to be teaching these dudes how to navigate through and actually find genuine people. Because at this point, you're at a higher tax bracket. You have a lot of fictitious and superficial. Because
not even just that, I would recommend people find somebody who is with you before that.
But thing is, what if they didn't have anybody beforehand?
That's why I said find somebody.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was saying that, because to start teaching people.
I think that you should teach people to look out, because it, like Sneeko said, it's not hard to know what a hoe is. You don't need to have sex with 50 people. When he said that shit,
I was like, thank you.
You don't need to have sex with 50 people to know what a hoe looks like. You can find that out on your own. And what he said is true. A woman can provide you with multiple other things, helping with ambition, helping with all these other things, helping with your focus when trying to make yourself a better person and helping you succeed so you can be a high value man or whatever the fuck it is. But a person that's with you when you have nothing and stays with you when you have something is a person that's going to actually stay there with you longer than somebody that you get later on when you've already made it. You see it all. That's shit. They put it in every fucking movie. Every movie. Fuck Shark Tales.
Gotta start the put people.
Shark Tales. When he made it, that one fish that he had been looking at wanted him. Superficial. Didn't give a fuck about him. Cared about his status. But his girl that was always with him from the start till then never switched up.
And the thing is, it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you, but you like the self-discipline. You like the self-discipline to actually focus. And
that goes with the vasectomy thing too.
Yeah.
If you're so worried about getting somebody pregnant, just have abstinence. Like you don't have to have sex. But apparently, to Fresh and Fit, men can't control themselves, which is weird, and also should not be thrown out there because people can associate that with
the R word.
With saying, well, men can't control themselves. This is why they do that. No, that's not fucking true. Also,
but they have a bunch of weirdos.
Just having your self-control goes into the part of discipline that they're talking about with like working out and stuff like that. If you can have discipline with working out, you should also be able to have discipline with having sex and not having sex.
And the same is like you're telling people, all right, cool, stay focused in every other aspect.
Right. Every other aspect, but go be a hoe.
As far as this one, bro, you're a man, do what you want.
Right.
You're a man, do what you want. And like I always hated we're dudes, do this. And I understood the point that was made on like, oh yeah, the locking. We had the conversation about the lock and key thing.
I understand that, and then like I understand Fresh's point. Well, not Fresh, Myron's point, where he's talking about like more women have access to sex than men do because it's harder for men to have sex with women. I understand that, but also have fucking game. It's honestly not that fucking hard.
It's not.
It's actually extremely fucking easy.
It's like,
because you just have to know what it is that you're doing. And that is something that should be talked about, I guess. I mean, if you want to. Of just how to talk to women and understand exactly like certain things that they look for or whatever. And it's honestly very easy. Talk to women that are also like you're cool with.
Yeah, just literally have conversations. The more you have conversations with people, the easier it gets. But as far as crossing that boundary of doing that, it's a matter of trial and error.
Yeah.
You can't be scared to get rejected. It's going to happen.
Rejection is a normal thing of life.
It's going to happen. And if you run into somebody who's like that, you just dodged a bullet, big dog. If somebody's like that and you like, look, this girl lives it, like we came from the same area, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden she's like, I want a high value man, all the whatever superficial shit. Let her be delusional. Let her be
Validate
her. Let her know. Like,
and then go.
And then leave. And be like, all right, cool. You dodged a bullet. It's not that deep.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, and the other thing too, you don't have to have sex with every fucking woman you have access to.
These folks finna have these little kids growing up and being even worse. Like, you know, when somebody deny you be like, I ain't want you anyway because you ugly. So
yeah,
they finna
I ain't want you anyways, bitch.
Yeah, that's why I get money. So and so and so. That's why I'm a high value man. You see the Bugatti.
I mean, shit, there are already people that are like that, though.
Yeah, but
that's a crazy thing.
It's gonna make it worse.
Yeah, I mean, like, because people view, well, like they do, they view high value men as people that are.
We can make this the last couple points.
Okay, super desirable and all of these things. There are more women that are more willing to be with an average guy who treats them better than a high value man who like doesn't actually fucking like them. And that's and it's hard for you to understand that because of the type of women in the areas that you go to. They live in Miami. All of the Miami, they're called Miami hoes for a reason.
You going to the club thinking you finna find out. You think you finna find somebody.
You're not going to the club to find a gym out there.
If the girl you looking at talking about we outside and she got her tongue out and she over there half naked doing the thing, bro. I don't know what you thought in that moment that you were like.
If any, look.
And that shit, she could be a great young lady.
She could be personality-wise, cool. Value-wise, no. And
like, you see what's going
if
on.
you see a chick that does that fucking Meg the Stallion sound, just leave. Yeah. She's like, You're like, oh,
you're
nah. Nah. But also look at when you look at all of these, this is something to consider when wanting to only focus on money, because this is a Western ideal. Look at all of the richest people in the world, and those people are going through some pretty shitty things, and they might not be happy. If you go look at some of the lower class people or even middle class people, some people that are fucking poor are some of the happiest people in the fucking world because they don't give a fuck about that sort of thing. So really, what is a high value man or whatever like that? How is money required for you to be super successful in life if it's not what's going to end up making you happy?
And you can share it with no one. At the end of the day,
Right.
you just sitting there.
You're sitting in a room full of money and you have no one to spend it
You got
with.
stripper poles and hoes everywhere that only want you.
You look like Morty when he was sitting in bed and all those women are around him.
Yeah.
And he's still sad. Having all these things does not fix anything in your life. You're still going to be sad. You're still going to be a fucking loser. But now you're just a loser with money. And that's it.
Nobody's out here asking you how you doing.
Yeah, nobody cares.
They're asking you for that check and be like, all right, baby, where we going today? Where we going?
You have no genuine interactions with people because everybody's focused on the money that you can give them.
And then I'll say the last thing from watching that little stream right there with Sneeko and Destiny on there. One of the things that really stood out to me was, why are we not teaching our young men how to get to that point where we're teaching our young women to be mothers. We're not teaching the young men to be fathers. We're teaching our young men to be deadbeats.
Because apparently to them, you being a hoe is also helping you become a father.
Makes sense to me, I guess.
Hey, look. Hey.
Absolutely not. That shit's dumb as hell. And it's only gonna perpetuate bad things that are bound to happen for you. And then I'm just curious in the next, 5-10 years. What like some of these guys who are preaching all this stuff, if they hit that point, I wonder, are they gonna start doing the 360 like Sneeko? Are they gonna do the I've seen this, I've seen how it really is, and like it's not what's happening? And then we're putting our Western men at a point where you can't even function as a regular dude. Your only function is get money, fuck hoes,
More money.
More money. Fuck what my wife gotta say. Fuck a wife. Fuck these kids. And
shit, you got a vasectomy. You don't gotta worry about no kids.
Hell, ain't no kids happening. At this point, the crazy part is, what if you just sitting there watching your hero on TV and on the screen, and he's like, fuck them kids. You're like, damn, I wanted kids. I guess I can't have kids now.
Hey.
Shit.
This happens when they have a whole bunch of followers and none of those people can think for themselves.
This is why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is why we're here and a few other people out there on the YouTube space is here, because we agree with some of the things that they say, but a lot of the things that they're about, we need to address them because they're not getting held accountable. And if we're going to hold women accountable, we also need to hold men accountable.
You can't be out here. What they say?
You can't be hypocrites.
They basically just matching energy, and that's a feminine trait.
That is true. But like I said, they're feminine people. They have feminine traits, and those feminine traits are very apparent. They act the same way as the bitches they talk about.
You just got a deeper voice. That's it.
Hey. But shit. That's it.
That's it right there. And off on that one, y'all think for yourselves. Think for yourselves, because we love you. We appreciate you. And we appreciate you guys that are all listening on whatever audio platforms, rate us 5 stars on all of that. We appreciate that. It helps us move the algorithm so we can branch out to more listeners like you. And as far as the YouTube people, what's good? If you're seeing us visually, what's popping, we love you. We care
Brand
about
new whip
you.
just hopped in.
He said what?
He said, what's popping? I said, brand new whip just hopped in.
I did. I gotta listen to his new album. But I heard he was talking about something.
Okay.
But yeah, I just drew a blank because that threw me off. I was thinking about Jack Harlow album.
We were talking about YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Leave a comment below if you guys have any topics, anything you want us to discuss, as far as getting to know us, anything you've seen, or any clips that you just want us to watch and react to, and have some commentary on. Just let us know on that. We appreciate the input, and go ahead and like, share.
And if you're down with the get down, go ahead and subscribe.